All righty. So, good afternoon. I'm Coach Chris, and this is Coach McCall of Iron Sharpens Iron. Today, we have some of our clients with us who have really been blowing us away.
Yes.
Not just because of what they can do on the floor, but just their spirit towards exercise.
Their motivation and perseverance through it all.
Yes. So without further ado, I'll just quickly introduce Steve and Candace. So Steve and Candace, tell us a little about yourself.
Hi there.
Well, tell us how your exercise, tell us your experience with exercise.
Oh, goodness. I have a love-hate relationship with exercise. One of the things I found out in the last 2 or 3 or 4 years is that when I love to hate it the most is when I'm really inconsistent. It's like the more consistent I am, the easier it is to be involved in it and enjoy it and feel good. When I do it occasionally, it seems like I never get past this hurts and that aches and this is sore and whatever, and then I get discouraged and then I don't follow through on it. But and I've got a checkered history. And I was a athlete in school, in high school, not so much in college. A little bit of recreational stuff, and then for the next bunch of years, I was as much physically active as the Army told me I had to be. I didn't really start doing exercise as an adult for me personally, for my own benefit and for my own satisfaction until after the Army, and I started having a lot of back issues and decided that a friend who also had back issues found that he felt best when he was running. And I thought, well, if it worked for him, it'll work for me. And so I started running again and enjoyed that. But I haven't really been consistent without a goal, without a motivation that I own. Because the one thing that I realized over the years was, especially during the Army, I had an external motivation. They said, do it. And I said, you betcha. And I did it. Now I'm doing things for me. I'm doing things because I want to feel as good as I can feel. I want to be in that place where it's not like, oh gee, I'm hurting, oh I'm sore, maybe I ought to exercise. I want to be proactive in it, and I've gotten way past the who am I competing against? It's not a competition. Well, except for maybe me. I want to do a little bit more this time than I did the last time, but now it's the motivation to knowing that both physically and mentally, I have a lot more options in life when I take care of my body.
Yeah. And Candace, what's your experience with exercise? Whole lifelong experience, kind of going off where Steve went.
That's a long time ago. Okay. I was not an athlete in high school. I was not an athlete in college. And I really started exercising because I love to have fun and I love social interaction. And so when we had children, we had play groups and we had just things at school and stuff. And so that was just fun. And then I had a friend who was an aerobics teacher back in the olden days when that was a class that a person would take. And I took that and, would stay active mostly just, once or twice a week going to a class but mostly with the kids playing and just having a good time. And then goodness sakes, I was getting in middle age. Yeah, I was getting into my 50s and 60s, and the kids started wanting to do things like hike and do things that took more exercise than, more stamina and endurance than what I had built up. So I kind of got into sort of training for that. I never did get into running like Steve did. And then when I was 61, I think, or somewhere right there, our oldest granddaughter called me one day, and she was 16, I think, or 14 or 14. Yeah, because she was old enough to do her first, quote, adult triathlon. She had done kids meets before that. She said, "Grandma, will you do one with me?" And I'm like, "What? A triathlon?" I like to swim to have fun, but I've never swum competitively. And oh my goodness, I didn't have a bike except just a little, it was our son's college bike. And then to run just seemed like a lot of pain to me. And so it's like, oh, but she asked me, and she said, "Oh, it's just for all women and girls. And so will you do it with me?" So what could I say? I said, yes. And then I'm like, "Steve, help me." It was a short little thing, tiny, tiny short thing. I think it was a 250-yard swim and a 12-mile bike ride and a, I don't know, 2 or 3 mile run. And I did it. And it was fun. It was so much fun. And so then Steve and I got into sprint triathlons that we did for several years, and mostly with the kids. Our kids were old enough, and now we had a few grandchildren. And so then I said, okay, I want to do a triathlon with every single one of our grandchildren. And at that point, we have 4, and I don't think we'll have any more. And so I've done it with our oldest Taylor, and then I did one with the next one, Carson, and that was a mixed group because that's a boy, and so there were men in this group. And then Steve and I have done several, and goodness sakes, the next one's getting to be that age, and I don't know and I still have one that's little, and so whether I can make my goal of doing a triathlon with each of them, I don't know, but I love working out, and I love being strong. I love the interaction, and especially with you guys. Oh my gosh, you just make it so personable and so encouraging. And I love the faith aspect, because really the reason that I work out is because God gave me this body and says, take care of it. And I want to take care of it. If I die tomorrow, I want everyone to know that I was taking care of my body when I could. And I do it for the kids. They are always saying what motivation that is. We went on a hike just last week and clear up to the top of a mountain. I mean, it wasn't a big mountain, but 600 and some feet. And we climbed that mountain with one of our children and his wife. And they said how neat that is, that many of their friends, their parents could not be doing this with them. And that just tears me up and makes me want to do more. I just love it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I am. And yeah, as far as the love-hate, I love the exercises, even when they're so hard. I find myself laughing because I think I must look ridiculous. And I think of the confidence that, Chris, you must have in me to have me do these things, because I'll start laughing. And Steve says, "What are you laughing at?" I said, "He actually thinks I can do this." And then I try it, and I can do stuff I never thought I could do. So it's awesome. You guys are amazing. You are just absolutely amazing.
Well, we have a lot of fun working with you guys in the morning, and a lot of we look forward to having you guys in the morning, and we get a lot of insight from you guys every time Chris puts on a new workout routine for Steve and he knocks it out of the water, or I ask you all the time, do you want it to be less challenging? And then you tell me, no, keep it that way. I'm motivated. So it's not only that, but you are also motivating us to keep up, to do these things for you, because the Damascus Steel program is, we want it to be progressive. We want to see people achieve their goals, but also we want people to actually get stronger along the way. So as we continue to put these challenges, we do notice that there is more strength in the both of you as you continue.
Oh, yeah. One of the things just one other little thing is, whenever you do a triathlon, your age is on your calf, which is just not really fun, especially here's this old lady's legs with varicose veins, and then the, big old age right there. And yet there are so many people who will stop us not stop us during the race, but when we're hanging out afterwards, and say, that's so motivating. I hope I can do that when I'm your age. And that just really feels good. It feels good, not like, oh, wow, look at me, but wow, I mean, you can do this. It does not matter how old you are. It doesn't. God has made our muscles so that they will rejuvenate as long as we live. It takes longer the older we get, but it can happen.
Yes. So I just want to touch real quick. I know we know you guys, but for those out there who don't know, could you guys tell them about how old you guys are, and about the time frame when you guys, because I found really interesting hearing it again, is that neither of you were actually athletic up until you were actually mature adults. And then that's when you guys really actually pursued athletics. So like, what age frame was that? Because I think that's a really interesting note. It just shows that you can start at any age.
Yeah.
Well,
what age was that? Where are you guys now? Sorry.
Going back to when I started doing things because I chose them instead of the Army chosen them. I took a break in service, and so I finished up a little bit older than some people. So I didn't start running. I did my first half marathon when I was in my mid 50s, I guess. And then when we got I got my two boys involved in distance running, and we did a couple marathons together, and then they decided that running that long was boring, and so they wanted to mix it up a little bit, and somebody invited them to try triathlon, and they did, and then tried to get me in it, and I didn't want anything to do with it for about 3 or 4 years. So I finally did my first sprint triathlon when I think it was 60 or 61.
Oh, wow.
And the important thing here is not to say how far I've come, other than to say that what I've been able to do is not looking too far down the road. Is what do I want to do today? What's my goal for next week or next month? Or because I've been doing this for a while now, I have a goal for next fall. But the neat thing now is I've gone from that. I've been able to do that, and mostly, I would say mostly with consistency. I've been blessed with good health, and when health issues have come along, they haven't been permanently life-altering or anything. So I've been able to do those kinds of things. So I've gone in the last 10, 11 years. I'm coming up on 72, and next October is what I expect to be my big event for 2021, and that'll be a half Ironman. So
that'll be
and for the people who don't know what that is, it's because I like to brag. It's a 1.2 mile swim followed by a 56 mile bike followed by a 13.1 mile run in under 8.5 hours.
And that's a personal goal for me, but I've never attempted that. got me beat right there.
What I like about Steve is he really doesn't, the age is not a factor. The number of that is not a factor.
Yeah, he's always competing with me.
Yeah, I know. And he says that he likes even the new mace workouts and stuff. And I remember, I think you completed 17 miles one time bike ride?
Yeah.
And and Chris was blown out of the water.
No, I mean,
Steve did 17 miles.
He did 17 in like an hour.
Yeah.
That's what blew
Oh
me
yeah, yeah. I think it was, I don't know. It was something just over 50.
Mhm.
But I was riding it, I don't know, 17 or 18 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, he blew me away because I was like, dude, I can't maintain that pace for an hour. Like, that's crazy.
But you are both
He's got a good bike.
testimonies.
Yeah, I do have a
He
good
does.
bike.
He has a good bike. Yes. We
Yeah.
both
It's the
graduated
bike.
away from the kids'
Uh,
college bike.
awesome.
Yeah.
I do want to ask a little bit about what we've been working with you guys for about 12 weeks now?
About that.
Yeah. 11.
11 weeks now.
Mhm.
And coming into this program, there was definitely some things that you guys both let us know that you felt were missing
Mhm.
from what you were doing at the time, because you guys have been really active, but it was just something that you guys felt like you could have benefited from. So what were the struggles that you guys had coming into the program that you were hoping to solve?
Go ahead.
For me, it was I had been doing, after COVID hit, I had been doing only virtual, or not even virtual, video workouts. Before that, I was active in a 9-round gym, which is kickboxing, and I picked that up simply to strengthen my left arm, because during an exercise a video here at the house, I slipped off of an exercise of a stand, an exercise step, and fell and broke my arm, both bones in my arm. And so my left arm was just needing a lot of rehab. And I was finished with rehab, finished with doctors, all that stuff, and decided that I could make it stronger by doing something like boxing, which it worked. It really worked. And I think it scared the coach there for a while. He was like, "Are you sure this is okay when you've got all these pins and plates and screws?" I said, "Yeah, they've okayed me." And so then when COVID hit, the gym closed. Well, and it was just the video. And that was okay for a while, as long as my current gym was still operational. It wasn't operational, but he was still there. We could still do what they called the challenge of the week, and compete with each other and do things. And that was because, I said I like this social aspect. And so that was okay. But then I was just I knew I wasn't giving it my all. And once he went out of business, there was no one to compete with. And some videos don't even have live people in them. They just have like these stick figures doing things. And it's like, this is really so boring. I can hardly get through one. And, I'd go out and run occasionally or take a bike ride, but nothing that was motivating me. And I could tell I was going downhill. And so then a friend told us about you all. And when I called, I knew. I just said, "Steve, we got to do this. We just have to do this." And you've made all the difference in the world, because it is consistent. I'm telling you, if anyone is listening to this that doesn't know you two, you get away with nothing when they're watching. They see it all. They see it all. And that's so good. It's just so good, because one thing, you can hurt yourself if you have bad form, but the other is that it's really easy just to get lazy when you're doing it, or for me anyway, when I'm doing it by myself, just to get plain old lazy. And a lot of my friends think that I'm crazy because I have no one to work out with that's my age. I am 71. Steve's almost 72, and we don't. If we have an ache or pain, in a joint, they want to give us their joint specialist so we can get our joints replaced. And so we don't even talk about that kind of stuff. But it's, you give us the consistency, the encouragement, the correction and redirection. So far I've gotten everything that I said I needed from this, everything.
And I think one of the things that has been really helpful for me, Chris, is that you keep it interesting. You keep things mixed up, and one of the things I've found is I'm pleasantly surprised sometimes when I go through and I look at the routine, usually in the evening before we do it in the morning, and just write it out to make sure that I watch a little videos to make sure that I'm aware of how, not only how to do it, but how to do it right and do it well. And I'll do all that stuff. And there are days when it's like, geez, I've done half of these before. This is pretty cool, and so there's just that variety that keeps things fresh, and your knowledge of physiology is such that you always seem to find creative ways to give me what is going to be really helpful for me to work on. And I tease you at times about beating me up, working me over, and all that kind of stuff. But you just really know what I need, and find kind of interesting and fun ways to do that. And one of the things I appreciate is that you've taken the time to get to know me. And so that just makes such a difference that, and like I said, I still really, really enjoy triathlon. And when I'm out there on my bike, or I'm in the middle of, I'm halfway through a 2-mile swim, the only voice I'm hearing is mine. And my voice cuts me slack, and you don't. You encourage me, but you don't say, "Oh, that's enough." You've never told me, you've never said you can do better than that, but you've always been encouraging. So with encouraging without giving me any kind of a message other than something positive, and that's just been such a this has just been a really, really good season for me to step away from the months that I typically spend getting ready for a big triathlon, to doing something that is, for me, it starts the day, and it's a great way to start the day, and it's a great way to be connected with someone who's genuinely interested in my success, and all that just is just a very, very positive thing. I was going to say in this season of COVID, but it's going to be a good thing beyond that as well. To say that it's not, that it's just is a COVID unique situation would be to just not understand what's going on at all. It's way bigger than that.
Yeah.
You two are also very aware, because I just the other 2 or 3 workouts ago, Mikal, you picked up something with my shoulder that I wasn't going to mention because it doesn't really hurt that bad, but you asked about it then. You said that you noticed that when I was doing a lateral raise or whatever, and the fact that you are watching that closely to notice things like that just says a lot about the seriousness that you guys take in this business and in this ministry that you have. So thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Yeah, it's been definitely fun working with you guys. I enjoy the programming because, I love to see the progression, and it's encouraging when you have people who, they do the work, and, it allows me to then think of the next step. Oftentimes for me, a discouragement is when you have somebody who comes in, they're excited, they sign up, and then they work out like one time, and they miss like 4 workouts, and then they might get another one in. There's no way that you can build off of something like that, but your consistency has definitely been key. You guys, you hit every workout, and that shows. And I know we've talked, and I think you guys have told us a little bit about the way your chiropractor has seen your posture improve and such like that.
Yeah.
Well,
Did you have a question? Okay.
Before I get to that, I was just going to say that one of the things I remember from years ago when Candace was starting to run, and she was running about a mile, and she ended up in a conversation with a very experienced female runner, and just mentioned, she said, I'm only running about a mile, and it's just so hard. And this is a person who was running multiple marathons a year, and she said, honey, the first mile is hard for all of us. Yeah. And I think that's the same thing. The first workout is hard for all of us. If you get discouraged and you're not sure you want to do the second one, you put in a whole lot of work and you're missing the benefit of it. So come back to the second one. It shouldn't be easy, but you're going to build on what you did. And so anyway, and you were asking about chiropractic.
No, I mean, I really pointed that out too, because that's just some words of wisdom that keep the momentum moving forward,
Yeah. Well, then that's been a positive thing for me. And one of the things I mentioned to you was that here a few weeks ago, when I went to the chiropractor, and he was aware that we were working with you, and part of the conversation ended up being that he said he could tell that I was getting stronger when I walked in the door because my posture was better.
That's awesome.
That's definitely that's a win, because at this, you guys are 71 and 72. From here, normally you don't hear that coming from chiropractor or anybody. They don't usually tell you, hey, you guys are actually getting better with your posture. They usually say your posture is getting worse.
Kyphotic. Right. A lot of people are kyphotic by that age because you have lack of the calcium and strengthening in the bones, and people just don't work out anymore because they have that mentality where they feel like I'm in my 70s or 60s and it's hard to get back into shape. But because you have been persistent with doing your strength exercises and have been a good steward with your health overall, the ability for someone like your chiropractor to say that, especially coming from that clinical eye, is fantastic. And then being able to be consistent with it along the way, you're going to reap more benefits from it. And that's fantastic. Because like I said, a lot of people at this age are kyphotic.
Oh yeah.
And then just kind of touching on this, I know this was kind of something that's been a win, definitely in Steve's category. But Candace, what have you seen that's been a benefit that you've seen through working through the program?
I'm stronger than I was, definitely. I thought I was kind of strong anyway, and for my age I was, but I definitely have gained strength. I do know my posture's better. There's still things I cannot do, those wall wipers and things, but it's getting better. I can do it without the band. I can get my whole arm on the wall. So it's improving. And I'm getting stronger. I feel better about moving around is easy. That was one of the things I had told you I wanted to do, mobility and just things in life that you do. I never, ever touch anything when I stand up anymore, ever. Even if there's a table in front of me, I just stand up. I can move around easier. I can get through little places. One of the hikes our kids took us on, I got to go behind a waterfall that you had to duck way down in and get around. And, it's just so neat to be able to do that. And yeah, okay, so what if I fell down and got wet? So what? But I could do it, and I didn't fall down and get wet. But it's that mobility and strength, and it's more than flexibility. There is, I'm also improving in flexibility, and which seems really weird because what we do is tightening instead. I do practice yoga twice a week, but still the stretches that you have us do are really good. And so, yeah, that's a benefit that I've seen since just in these weeks. And that, if you think 11 weeks, that's not really that long. But if we had been only working out one day a week, we wouldn't have these results.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I used to tell the guys because I was the grandma of the 9-round gym, that, they'd say, oh, well, I'm not making any progress. And I just would say, it's because you don't come. You've got to come. And, you're paying money for this. And so maybe I'm just frugal enough that we're paying money for this. And so why would we not want to take advantage of it?
You take advantage of every little bit of it, that's the first thing, because you do pay good money for this thing, and you really get out of any program what you put into it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Whoops, sun.
Oh, we're starting to get blocked by this.
Are we getting blocked by the sun? Come over this way. Is that better? Yeah. Now I've got sun in my eyes, but that's okay.
Oh, sorry. So what would you tell someone who's kind of struggling and on the fence with actually, joining Iron Sharpens Iron and hasn't worked with us yet? What would you, tell somebody who's thinking about it?
I would tell anybody who maybe just has something going on that's piqued their curiosity or is interested them in having some kind of a conversation, is that the worst thing you can do as an amateur is compare yourself to somebody else. The pros have a reason to do that, but you guys are the pros and we're not. So don't compare yourself to anybody. Use this time as a time of exploration to try to figure out, why would I want to exercise? What do I think that are the benefits? And choose something that is for you, and take, there's an old saying that says, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Exercise can look and seem like an elephant, but take it a day at a time, and if you're sedentary, if you're on the couch, walk around the block, and you walk around the block and realize you made it. Tomorrow, walk a block and a half, take a piece at a time. And what you're going to find out is with consistency, you're going to start feeling better. You're going to start doing more, and you'll want to build on that and do something more, something different, something that's going to help you grow. And the best way, I think, to do that is to do that with somebody that you trust, somebody who can watch you, who can evaluate you, who can encourage you, who can challenge you without overwhelming you. And that's the biggest mistake I think some people make, is trying to be their own coach or their own trainer. I have a friend who's an MD who says that, he's a proponent of the saying that a doctor who's who's their own patient, or a doctor who tries to take care of themselves as a fool for a patient.
Mm-hmm.
Is you need that external opinion, that external perspective on your life, and somebody who actually is not just bringing an opinion, but is bringing an educated and trained perspective to what you're doing. And so I'm late to the game as far as having somebody in my life that fills that role. I was probably stubborn enough or egotistic enough to think that I could do all my own training and be my own advocate, and it worked a little bit, but it definitely fell short. And this is this is probably as good of experience I think that I've had. I'm not thinking of any. I can't anticipate, or I can't remember a time when I've been working with someone that was more effective and both challenging and helpful and enjoyable.
Thank you.
Well, can I just add one little thing about what I would say to someone who's on the fence? And that is, if you indeed believe your health is important to you, we make investments and we do what we value. And to say that this takes too much time or too much money or too much anything, too much effort, is saying that it's not my health is not my top, it's not a value to me. You're really just lying to yourself to do that. We do have to make investments in our health. We have to make investments in all the things that are important to us. We make an investment in a marriage. We make investments in everything that's important. And so I just say, if that is important to you, make the investment. You're not making a lifelong commitment to these two wonderful people, but you're making enough of a commitment that you try it out and that you give it a good try. And then once you make that commitment, then take advantage of everything that, that they offer. You all just say, you can message anytime, and it's true. It's true. You're available. You like for us to message you and to ask questions. And you like to schedule classes where you can watch us. And so that's what I would say to the person on the fence. If it's an investment, or if it's important to you, then make the investment and just do it. And if you decide that you like it better the other way, you can go back to that. I mean, if I decided I wanted to be a couch potato, I could do that. I hope I never decide that. But if that's what my lifestyle had been and I liked it better, you can always go back to that. But give it a full, good try with everything you've got. That would be my advice to them.
I love what Candace just said, give it a full try, because a lot of times people don't. What I do also want to point out is we do have a lot of accountability, and we constantly have those check-ins. And so my last question would be, how has those accountability sessions weekly affected you guys, or has helped you guys in the program?
I was saying the first thing is that I'm aware that Saturday morning is coming up and I've got to be accountable all week long. And that's a good thing. That's a very good thing, because not only do I need to be accountable, but I'm making notes if I have a question or something. I mean, you're really good at before or after the workout. If I've got a question about something, you'll answer it, or I can send you a text or something. But we have that check-in time where we can we can talk a little more casually about something that came up during the week. And it really is, I like that you call it check-in, because it just is, it's a time that I look forward to,
Because the goals and things too, it's not just about the workout. What
Yeah.
are your goals? What are, how can we help you this week with those? Yeah, that's all important.
Awesome. Well, we are definitely blessed by you guys, and just encouraged, especially me being a new mom and him being a new dad, and that you guys are definitely something that I look forward to becoming.
Oh dear.
So thank you so
Wow.
much for taking the time out to share your lives with us and sharing it on Facebook, so people can also get to know more about you.
Yeah.
Because we did rant and rave about you guys.
Yeah. Is there anything, I know we've been talking for a little while now, is there anything that we haven't touched on that you guys would like to talk about? Really, anything you guys would like to say?
Before we sign off.
Yeah, before we sign off.
I think just for people to know you are trustworthy people. It's a trustworthy organization, a trustworthy business. You do base it on Christian values, and I've not seen anything that would show that it was anything but a company of integrity. And so I would recommend it. In fact, I do. I recommend it all the time to people. I can't get them to call. I can't get them to do it, but I'm going to keep recommending anyway. Yeah.
And
Awesome.
I guess I would just echo that it seems to me like you've put together a really cool business model, and you obviously have the expertise to do what you do, but it's more than expertise, and it's more than a good business plan. It is who you are. It's your love of what you do, and it's your love for God's people that just makes it all work. And you take that out, and then it's just another thing that you can do online. I think what you're doing is unique, and I just feel a lot of privilege that God's led us to be a part of it with you.
And if anyone wonders, we're not like your parents or grandparents or anyone. We didn't know you until 11 weeks ago. We had never even heard of you.
That's
Oh, that is true. Up until about 3 months ago, right?
right.
Yes. I mean, it would be easy to brag on our kids. And we didn't know you.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you guys so much. This has been awesome, and it's really been eye-opening. I really hope that this speaks to someone's heart, and they truly they reach out. If they need help, they definitely we encourage it. We want to help more people. So thank you guys for being
Awesome.
part of that and sharing your story.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome, and thank you.
I'm gonna sign us off really quickly. I am Coach Chris. Remember to stay tuned for more ISI Fit.
That is Chris's mom.
That is Coach Chris's mom. Thanks, Mom. And this is Mikal, Coach Mikal.
At Iron Sharpens Iron, we always like to say, make moves, not excuses.
Thank you guys so much.
Okay, bye.